Ever heard of a place so haunted it was officially dubbed the most haunted house in England? Well, get ready, because today we're stepping into the chilling world of Borley Rectory. This isn't just a ghost story. It's a saga filled with spectral nuns, phantom coaches, and unexplained phenomena that baffled investigators for decades. Built in 1862 in a quiet corner of Essex, Borley Rectory seemed like any other Victorian country house. But it was built on a site with a dark history, a local legend of a 13th century monastery, a forbidden love affair between a monk and a nun, and their subsequent tragic end. The story goes the monk was hanged, and the nun was bricked up alive within the walls of the convent. This tale would set the stage for a century of terror. The hauntings really kicked into high gear when Reverend Henry Bull and his family moved in. They reported hearing mysterious footsteps, seeing strange lights, and even encountering a phantom coach pulled by headless horsemen. The family's daughters claimed to see the ghostly figure of a sad-looking nun wandering the grounds, a figure who would later become the most famous spirit of Borley. They even nicknamed her, trying to make light of the constant paranormal activity. But things escalated dramatically in the late 1920s with the arrival of Reverend Guy Eric Smith and his wife. The phenomena became more aggressive. Objects were thrown, windows were smashed, and strange messages started appearing on the walls, pleading for help. Desperate, the Smiths contacted the Daily Mirror newspaper, which then brought in the famous paranormal investigator, Harry Price. Price's arrival turned Borley Rectory into a national sensation. He conducted extensive investigations, seances, and experiments, documenting an incredible range of paranormal activity. He reported bells ringing on their own, objects levitating, and capturing what he claimed was photographic evidence of spirits. His findings, published in his book, The Most Haunted House in England, cemented Borley's terrifying reputation. One of the most bizarre phenomena were the wall writings. Cryptic messages would mysteriously appear on the walls, seemingly scrawled by an invisible hand. One message begged, "Marianne, please help get." This led to the theory that the spirit was not a medieval nun, but a French nun named Marie Lair, who was allegedly murdered at the rectory. After the last residents fled in terror, the rectory stood empty. Then, in 1939, a fire, predicted by the spirits themselves, ravaged the building, leaving it a charred ruin. But even the fire couldn't extinguish the paranormal activity. Visitors to the ruins continued to report strange occurrences, and a photograph taken during the demolition in 1944 famously captured what looks like a floating brick in mid-air. Over the years, many have tried to debunk the Borley Rectory hauntings. Critics claim Harry Price exaggerated or even faked some of the evidence to boost his fame. Others suggest the phenomena were caused by natural explanations or even pranks. But despite the skepticism, the sheer volume and consistency of witness testimonies from different families over 60 years is hard to ignore. So was Borley Rectory truly a gateway to the other side, or just a masterful hoax? The house is long gone, but its legend remains, a chilling reminder of what might be lurking just beyond our understanding. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more dives into the unknown. Stay curious. Welcome back, history buffs and ghost hunters. Today, we re-journeying back in time to what was once called the most haunted house in England, the infamous Borley Rectory. This Gothic mansion, built in 1862 on the site of an ancient monastery, quickly gained a reputation for being more than just a home. The legend begins with a tale as old as time-forbidden love. A 13th century Benedictine monk and a nun from a nearby convent fell in love and planned to elope. But their secret was discovered. The monk was executed and the nun was allegedly bricked up alive within the walls of the convent. For centuries, her lonely spirit was said to wander the grounds, forever searching for her lost love. Locals called her the nun in the garden, a sad, spectral figure drifting through the twilight. Fast forward to 1928, when the Reverend Guy Eric Smith and his wife moved into the rectory. Almost immediately, things got weird. They reported hearing disembodied footsteps, strange bells ringing at all hours, and even saw the ghostly nun peering through the windows. Overwhelmed, they reached out to the Daily Mirror newspaper, which sent a paranormal researcher named Harry Price to investigate. Price's arrival turned Borley into a national sensation. He documented a flurry of activity, objects flying across rooms, mysterious messages scrawled on walls, and sudden, inexplicable drops in temperature. One of the most famous messages, supposedly from a spirit named Marie Lair, pleaded for help, claiming she had been murdered on the site in 1667. Price's investigations, filled with seances and scientific-looking gadgets, captivated the public and cemented Borley's haunted reputation. After the Smiths left, the Reverend Lionel Foyster and his wife Marianne moved in. The activity seemed to escalate dramatically. Marianne reported being thrown from her bed, locked in rooms, and even physically assaulted by unseen forces. These claims were sensational, but some skeptics began to wonder if everything was as it seemed. Was it a genuine, violent haunting, or was there something else going on within the walls of the rectory? In 1937, Price leased the rectory for a year, assembling a team of 48 official observers to live in the house and meticulously record any paranormal occurrences. They documented thousands of incidents, from faint whispers to full-bodied apparitions. The legend of the grieving nun, the murdered Marie Lair, and other tormented souls seemed to be confirmed. But the story takes another dark turn. A prophecy discovered during one of Price's seances claimed the rectory would burn down on the night of February 27, 1939, and incredibly, it did. The new owner, Captain W.H. Gregson, was unpacking boxes when a stray oil lamp tipped over, and the old house went up in flames. As the fire raged, witnesses claimed to see ghostly figures in the windows, watching their home turn to ash. Even after its destruction, the haunting of Borley wasn't over. Excavations in the cellar in 1943 uncovered the jawbone and skull fragments of a young woman, lending chilling credibility to the story of Marie Lair. Was this the source of the haunting? The final tragic puzzle piece? However, in the years that followed, much of the Borley Rectory case was debunked. Researchers from the Society for Psychical Research concluded that many of the phenomena were likely faked by the residents, particularly Marianne Foyster seeking attention. Even Harry Price himself was accused of embellishing his findings and staging some of the events to sell more books. So what is the truth of Borley Rectory? Was it a hotbed of paranormal activity home to a tragic nun and other restless spirits? Or was it a masterful hoax, a product of loneliness, desperation, and brilliant showmanship? The rectory itself is long gone, just a patch of land in the Essex countryside. But its story, a perfect blend of gothic horror, human drama, and historical mystery, continues to haunt us to this day. What do you think? Was Borley truly haunted, or was it all an elaborate fiction? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into history's greatest mysteries. See you next time. Have you ever heard of a place so haunted, it earned the title of the most haunted house in England? This is the story of Borley Rectory, a place shrouded in mystery and paranormal activity for over a century. The tale begins long before the house was even built, with a forbidden love story from the 13th century. A monk from the Borley Monastery and a nun from a nearby convent fell in love. Their plan to elope was discovered, and their fate was brutal. The monk was executed, and the nun, according to legend, was walled up alive within the convent walls. For centuries, her mournful spirit was said to wander the grounds, searching for her lost love. The spectral nun became a local legend, a ghostly guardian of the land where Borley Rectory would eventually be built in 1862 for Reverend Henry Dawson Ellis Bull. Almost immediately, the Bull family began reporting strange occurrences. They heard unexplained footsteps, saw phantom figures, and experienced objects moving on their own. The most famous apparition was that of the nun, often seen walking sadly through the garden, a path that would later be nicknamed the Nun's Walk. The hauntings seemed to escalate with each new resident. After the Bull family, the Smiths lived there for a short time, fleeing in terror after just a year. Then, in 1928, Reverend Guy Eric Smith and his wife moved in. Mrs. Smith discovered a package containing the skull of a young woman, a discovery that seemed to awaken something more sinister within the house. The activity intensified, with bells ringing on their own and cryptic messages appearing on the walls. Desperate for answers, the Smiths contacted the Daily Mirror newspaper, which sent paranormal researcher Harry Price to investigate. Price's arrival marked a turning point, catapulting Borley Rectory into the national spotlight. He documented a storm of paranormal phenomena, stones being thrown by unseen hands, objects teleporting from room to room, and eerie messages scrawled on the walls, seemingly from a spirit named Marianne. This spirit claimed to be a French nun who had been murdered in the rectory. Price's investigations were theatrical and highly publicized. He conducted seances, brought in dozens of observers, and published books about his findings. The rectory became a paranormal playground, drawing crowds of curious onlookers hoping to catch a glimpse of a ghost. However, the next residents, Reverend Lionel Foister and his wife Marianne, experienced the most terrifying activity yet. Marianne was allegedly attacked by unseen forces thrown from her bed, and tormented by poltergeist activity that was both violent and relentless. The messages on the walls now pleaded for help, with writings like, "Marianne, please help get," and light mass prayers. The haunting reached its dramatic climax in 1939. A new owner, Captain W.H. Gregson, was unpacking his books when a shelf mysteriously tipped over, knocking over an oil lamp. The resulting fire was devastating, and in less than a year, Borley Rectory was reduced to a pile of smoldering ruins. The destruction of the house, however, did not end the story. While sifting through the debris, investigators made a chilling discovery: small bone fragments, believed to be those of a woman. Could these be the remains of the legendary nun, or perhaps the spirit Marianne? Even after the fire, the paranormal activity continued. Visitors to the ruins reported seeing the ghostly nun, hearing phantom footsteps, and experiencing strange electrical failures in their cars. Ghost hunters recorded disembodied whispers on their equipment, voices from a time long past. Of course, the story of Borley Rectory has its skeptics. Many have accused Harry Price of fabricating evidence to boost his fame. Others believe the residents themselves were responsible for the phenomena, either as elaborate hoaxes or through psychological suggestion. Was Borley Rectory truly a gateway for troubled spirits, or was it all a grand, elaborate deception? The eyewitness accounts are numerous, the documented events are chilling, and the legends are woven deep into the fabric of British folklore. The fire may have destroyed the building, but the mystery of what happened within its walls endures. The ghosts of Borley Rectory, whether real or imagined, continue to haunt our collective imagination, leaving us to wonder about the secrets that were consumed by the flames. What do you think? Was it a genuine haunting or a masterfully crafted hoax? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more journeys into the unknown.